Hello and welcome back to another character creation video. This is creating One Piece's Zoro in Fabula Ultima, a guide by Fabula Points, me. So like with my other guides, we're just going to go straight in and we're going to start filling out Zoro's character sheet together, and then we'll go over classes and abilities and things like that. So name will be Aurora Nora Zoro, pronouns he, him, identity. So we could put something like the right arm of the Pirate King here, but because we're kind of like a main character in this, and we'd need Luffy in the game to be able to do that, we'll just call him the greatest swordsman in the world. I know he's not yet, because Mihawk, but that's what he wants to be. So theme, King of Hell, because he is origin. So he is from Shimotsuki Village in East Blue. All right, cool. So bonds, we don't have any bonds yet because bonds happen when we play. Fabula points, everyone starts with 3. Experience points, everyone starts with 0. Now, equipment. So with my other kind of builds, we went into skills first, but we'll do equipment now. So let's go to the equipment page. Put that on the side. Right, so as we know, Zoro wields katanas, but there's a problem with this. Katanas in Fabula Ultima are two-handed. Now, there is a skill, it's called Monkey Grip, where it lets us wield two-handed weapons in one hand, but it doesn't remove the two-handed property, which is important because there's a skill we're going to pick up later that lets us use 3 swords at once, and that needs only one-handed weapons, and it doesn't work with Monkey Grip. So annoyingly, we can't wield katanas in this build. We're going to have to go for the bronze sword. We can kind of flavor it because flavor's free, so that your bronze sword looks like it's a katana, like if you want, but we're not going to have katana damage. So bronze swords, we fill out like that. So in main hand and off hand, and we're going to put the description there. Armor and shields, we're going to go for no armor, and we got deck size in size. Okay, cool. So we know our initiative modifier is 0. Defense and magic defense we can't fill out until we have our stats allocated. Zenny, everyone starts with 500. Each bronze sword is 200 Zenny each, so we have 100 left. Okay. So we now need the other side of the screen. So let's go, let's just scroll. So our attributes. Zoro, as you know, is really strong and not very smart. So we're going to go Dexterity 10 for base and current. Insight is going to be D6. Might is going to be D10. And Willpower D6. So let's quickly fill out these. So defense is Dex, so the defense is 10. Magic defense is 6. Cool. We'll fill out the equipment later when we get to our classes. HP, MP, IP. IP always is 6. The HP and MP are going to depend on what classes we pick. Speaking of, let's start going from now. So there's lots of considerations we do with Zoro. Like I, for example, really think that he suits the Dark Blade. Obviously, because we can like pretend like his Enma sword is draining his life, and the Dark Blade has like life drain kind of skills. But the thing with Zoro is we really want a heroic skill called Triple Slash. It's in the Atlas book. So Triple Slash lets us equip a melee weapon as long as it's a dagger or a sword in our armor slots. So we can have 3. Now, Triple Slash being a heroic skill means we have to get a class to level 10, and it has to be either the Dancer or the Weapon Master. So for that reason, we're going to go Weapon Master. And we're going to take 4 levels in it to start with. I will explain why as we go. So if we go to the Weapon Master page, it is there. Cool. So Weapon Master's free benefits is HP plus 5 and martial melee plus shields. So let's fill that in. So we get martial shields, martial melee. the character level starts at 5. So, skills. So we know we need to get to level 10, but we start obviously at level 4. So there's quite a few skills to choose from. So I like to start with the ones that you level up in, um, so that it's easier to track where they are. So I'd start with melee weapon mastery, and we're only going to go one rank to start with. So it's a SL bonus to accuracy checks with melee weapons. So this means that obviously like everything's slightly easier to hit. We also, I quite like the idea of breach, because we can destroy targets equipped armor, which is quite fitting, I think. So we'll go breach 1. So 5 MP, cost 2, destroy shield slash armor slash extra damage on next hit to enemy. Wait, cool. So that's 2. So then I think Blade Storm, it gives us multi-attack. So it's 10 MP to have multi, and I'd also pick counter attack, only because counter attack is incredible. Free attack when hit with even number attack roll, no high roll for damage. So we just obviously filled in a lot. So to explain it more fully, melee weapon mastery means that obviously we're going to hit more often, which is definitely something we want. Breach means that we'll be able to stop our attack dealing damage. We can either destroy one shield, we can destroy the target's armor, or whenever the target suffers damage from a source before the start of your next turn, that source deals extra damage to them. So this last one isn't a lot of extra damage. So it's skill level times 2. We can get up to 3. So the highest this will do is 6 extra damage. When I think, personally, attacking will probably do more than 6 damage. So I don't actually see a use for this part of Breach. However, destroying a shield and destroying target's armor, if you're up against a really tough enemy, hitting that at the start means everyone hits easier, and I think that's like essential. So we love Breach. Blade Storm gives you attacks multi, so instead of hitting one target, it'll hit a second, or if you can already hit 2, you'd hit third. And counter attack, if an enemy rolls an even number to attack you, whether it hits or not, you get to attack the enemy back as a counter attack, which is brilliant. So that's pretty strong to start with. I'm going to go build Zoro to level 5, and then I'm going to explain what I would do to get him to 10, which obviously you guys can do differently if you want, and then I'll explain what to do from there. So the next class we're going to pick, even though I really, really like the Dark Blade, and I think it suits him very well, I'm going to go for what people might think is an odd choice here, and I'm going to go the Arcanist. Now the Arcanist is the Summoner class. So let me bring him up and show you the Arcanist. Okay, so the way Arcanist works is you summon Arcanum with Bind and Summon, and that then gives you abilities. So there's one Arcanum in particular that I really think suits here. So we're gonna go down, 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 down. I'll explain it better when we get there. Arcanum of the Sword. So what this does is when you've bound this Arcanum, which costs 40 MP, which is steep, Your attacks deal 5 extra damage, and the damage is treated as having no type, so it's unaffected by damage affinities. Um, so this, right now, 5 extra damage for 40 MP isn't much, but one thing we need to consider is Arcanum deal more damage when we level up. So when we hit level 20, it does an extra 15 damage. It does 15 damage instead of an extra 5, and then when we hit level 40, it does 25 damage. And if we're obviously using 3 attacks, having this open could potentially give us 75 extra damage around, and the Arcanum lasts until we dismiss it. So that to me is a significant amount of damage for this kind of investment, and we can invest heavily in this later. So I've skipped a step. So we're gonna go. We'll say extra damage while bound +5. So the Arcanus is MP +5. Well, not equals 5 +5. Okay, so we can start filling out other stats now. So HP is might times 5. Our might is a d10, so that's 50 plus level, which is 5, plus other, which is 5. So we start with 60, and our crisis is 30. So our current will be 60. Magic points is willpower times 5. Our willpower is d6, so that's 30, plus 5 from the Arcanist, so 35. So as it stands, we can't actually summon the Arcanum, which isn't fun. Do we want to change the stats? Um, yeah, yeah, I think so. I didn't count on that. Let's move willpower to a d8. Let's put dexterity down to a d8, because obviously he's strong. So does that change over here? Defense is dex, so yeah, so that lowers our defense. So current is d8. That's d8. So this means we actually get 40. So we can do that once, but we can't do any of his other skills. So we will be able to invest into skills like the Emergency Arcanum, which is as long as you're in Crisis, the cost of summoning your Arcana is reduced by skill level times 5. We can get 6 in that, which is something I'd highly recommend, especially if we end up going into the Dark Blade and it takes our health off. So we can have decent synergy to be able to build this up. Okay, so now that we've fixed that, mind points is 40, inventory points is 6, because they always are. Cool, okay, so next bet is we do Arcana and spells. So the only Arcana we have is Binded Summon, which is Arcanum of the Sword. MP cost is 40. Targets is Self, and duration is Scene End. And then we can copy that. Let's zoom in a bit, and let's tidy it up. That bit can stay there. There we go. That looks pretty good. Cool. So this will be Zoro at level 5. But right now, we can only do his extra damage once per rest, which isn't very good. But this class, or this character, as I mentioned, really comes to life when we can get Weapon Master to 10. So what I would do for Weapon Master 10, if we go back to Weapon Master, which is here, let's pick. I don't think Bone Crusher is going to be as kind of Zoro friendly. Although we are going to need to take it at least once. So if we count these up, melee weapon master we can have up to 4. Breach we can have up to 3, so that makes 7. Counter attack is 8. Bladestorm is 9. So we're going to have to take Bone Crusher at least once. So I would do Bone Crusher only once, everything else I'd max, and I'd focus on this hard. So I would go straight for trying to get to Weapon Master 10. So if we just skip, so that's going to be, if we get to Weapon Master 10, we will by then be character level 11. And what you prioritize first will depend on how well you're doing. So like if you're hitting all the time, or more often than not, then we can save Melee Weapon Mastery for later. Breach can go up to 3, and then we're going to have to do the Bone Crusher, 1 level in it. No damage, attack to deal dazed, weak, or to break MP. Which I suppose breaking mind points could be fun, but I feel like everything else will be better for us. So this gives us, as we are level 11, we will be able to take triple slash. So we'll just put it down here. So triple slash, as long as you have melee weapon that belongs to dagger or sword, you can treat your armor slot as if it was a second offhand slot. So it has to be, so we can put 3 swords in. As I mentioned before, monkey grip doesn't work. When you perform the action, when you have the three swords equipped, you can attack once with each weapon. This follows the normal rules of 2 weapons fighting, which means they lose the multi-property and cannot gain it, which means we won't be able to use the multi-part of our Arcanum. And you treat the high roll of each accuracy check as being 0, but the high roll it being 0 is fine because we will be gaining damage from our Arcanum. Great. So that, oh, by the way, when we're level 11, that's an extra 6 levels, so our HP will go up by 6, our MP will go up by 6, that will go up by 3, and then we'll have 66 health and 46 MP, because we gain 1 HP and MP per level. Cool, so this is Zoro. We don't have any other classes yet. We have space, so it depends on what you want to lean into next is what you want to do. So I personally would either go straight into Darkblade, leaving Arcanist as 1, or put a few levels into Arcanist first so we can get the Arcanum going better. It's completely up to you. But that is my character build for Roronoa Zoro. We got him up to level 11. Let me know what you think in the comments. Thank you very much. Goodbye.